Hello guys, welcome to TechBrahmand. Today we'll go through the introduction of J2EE concept, Java Enterprise Edition. So here we will clarify all the acronyms and concept used in J2EE paradigm. To start with the basic, that is J2EE. So J2EE stands for Java to Platform Enterprise Edition. That is Java to Platform Enterprise Edition. Okay, so what is J2EE? J2EE enables the creation of modular Java application. So it enables a creation of modular Java application which is used to deploy on application servers. To state in a simple sentence, it enables the creation of modular Java applications to be deployed on application server. So it relies on Java Standard Edition, that is Java SE. Okay, so that is Java SE. And what is Java SE? Is Java Standard Edition. Okay, so it relies on Java Standard Edition. And what is Standard Edition? It is a core set of Java libraries used, or a set of Java libraries upon which all the Java applications are implemented. It is a core set of all the libraries that is have been used in Java. Okay, so let's go to general concepts. So, so before we dive into J2EE, the core concepts, let's have a general concept idea so that we have a better understanding. So, the first in that list is multi-tier application. Multi-tier applications or application. So, what is multi-tier application? A multi-tier application or a multiplier architecture is an application divided into multiple logical parts. So it is divided into multiple logical parts which are implemented often on multiple servers. So for example, if we have a three-tier model used with a user and its browser, obviously, then the application server and the database located on a separate server dealing with application server request. So we have a three-tier model which has user, application server, and the database. Okay, that's what we state as multi-tier application. Okay, and the second concept is multi-tier service. Okay, the second concept is multi-tier service. So what is multi-tier service? When thinking about service in a three-tier model, the application server is a service providing response to the user request. So whatever the request the user will send in the browser, so the application serves as a service to that response. So the database server provides answer to the queries made by the application server. Okay, so three-tier model in which user will make a request to the application server and the application server will make request to the database server. Database server will provide answer to the application server and application server returns back the response to the last tier, that is the client tier, that is the browser. Okay, so that is second. And the third concept is Java Bean. What is Java Bean? So these are Java classes. containing private properties made accessible with getter and setter methods. So technically speaking, these classes must also have a no parameter constructor and implement a serializable interface. Okay, so these are just simple Java classes containing private properties. Don't forget this, just Java classes. So this is what is Java bean. It's a simple concept. You don't need to get confused with all this. It's a Java classes with private properties made accessible with getters and setters. Okay, so here where we get it with the Java general concept. So before we dive in into the different models, let's have an idea of the J2EE concept through a diagram. Okay, let's see how this works. Okay, so for example, okay, um, let's see. So okay, to start with, we have three different layers. Okay, so the first layer is from where we will send the request. That is the client machine. Okay, I'll just make this big. Okay, so first is the client machine. What second is? The second tier is Java Enterprise Edition server. And the third is database server. Okay, so this is three-tier model. So what is it in three-tier? But so this is just as it is a client machine, so it is called as client tier. What is this? This is in Java application server. We have two tiers. One is web tier and one is business tier. Okay, so this is web tier, and the other layer inside the Java enterprise application server is business tier. And the last is the database server, which has ESI tier. So we'll go through this all the acronyms one by one. Okay, so just to make you understand. So in this, in the client tier, we have two applications. One is Java EE application 1, and the second is Java application 2. Okay, so what are these two applications? This will be application client, and Java application 2 will be dynamic HTML pages. Okay, So when it comes to the application server in the web tier, this will be nothing but JSP pages. And when it comes to the business tier, there are two beans. There are two Java beans. They can be multiple, depend on the application requirement. So we can state as enterprise bean. Okay, there can be one, there can be multiple, depend on the how the programming has been done for the requirement of the client. Okay, so there can be multiple beans in this business tier. And last but not the least is the database server that will have nothing but the database. So a database can also be single, multiple, depending upon the application requirement. So it goes on. So just to state that, so this is application client tier that goes from client tier to the web tier. The request goes to web tier, to the web tier in the JSP pages. The request goes to business tier, and the business tier sends request to the database to collect the data. So this is the J2EE multiple tier application model to understand in simple way. Okay, let's go back to our rest of the acronyms. And okay, so our general concept has been done, and now we have J2EE 5 concepts. Okay, in that we have first one as Java EE application model. So what it is? This is a model. Okay, so Java EE application model describes a multi-tier architecture. So it describes a multi-tier architecture to implement service. So it is a multi-tier architecture to implement the service. So the boundary defining what a service is not defined clearly. In fact, a service is a logical concept, and its concrete or real counterpart depends on the application implementing those concepts. For example, it is a server. It is a server in the client server model. So Java EE application model is nothing but a multi-tier architecture which is used for implementing the service which is required in that application depending upon the client requirement. Okay, so this is actually defines the boundary of what the different service can be. You don't need to mix different services. There can be different requirements. So you define the boundaries of the services, and the service is a logical concept. Okay, the service is a logical concept of what is the concrete or the real counterpart depending upon your application requirement. Second one is Java Enterprise Edition server. Okay, so what is Java Enterprise Edition server? It is an application server of a three-tier paradigm. So it is an application server. So in J2EE paradigm, this is an application server. It composes of web tier, as I mentioned in the diagram, which is web tier which serves or it serves JSP pages, and the second is the business tier which manages enterprise Java bean. So what is web tier doing? It is serving JSP pages, And what is business tier doing? It is managing enterprise Java beans. Okay, so the both together are termed as Java Enterprise Edition Server, Java EE Server. Okay, the third one is Java EE Components. So what is Java Enterprise Edition Components? So components means independent software unit. Okay, these are independent of what their requirements. So component means independent software units used in combination with other component to build an application. You make a component, which is depending upon the different components, depending upon the requirement of the client, and together it is used to build an application. So I'll term that again. Um, As component means independent software unit used in combination with other components to build an application. So, so there are um, there are four components or four concepts in the components. So, first one is web component. Web component. So, the part of web tier generally which is generating pages or whatever it returns to the user queries. So typically these are Java servlets or Java servlets, Java pages, or Java server faces and Java server pages. So I'll repeat that again. So web components, it's the part of web tier. Okay, so it is generating pages or whatever it returns to the user queries. So typically these are Java servlet, Java server pieces, and Java server pages. Okay. In that, the second component is applets or applet. So what is applet? Applet is a small Java software application sent as a part of a response to a user request and which is meant to run in the user browser. So applet are the combination of combination or a competition with the JavaScript. Applet is mostly like a JavaScript. So why? Because it is meant to run on the user server as a user browser. Okay, that is what the applets are. Then the third one is application client. So what is application client? As we saw in the diagram. So for it is like, for example, in a desktop application, which is written in Java. Okay, this is the application server. Depends on the requirements. If it is a web component, we have a web tier with web pages and enterprise beans. Okay, so that comes to fourth part is the enterprise bean. So we will see about the enterprise bean further in our video. Okay. Okay. So this is Java Enterprise Edition components. Then we go to Java Enterprise Edition client. Okay, Java EE client. So what is Java Enterprise Edition client. So this concept regroups three other concepts. So let's see what are the three other concepts. Okay. First is, as we know, it's a web client. So web client, so mostly in the olden days, web pages return to the client request used to contain code script which were executed on the application server before turning the result to the client. So these pages actually, the application server pages, the web pages which returns to the client through the application server, these pages are considered as EE clients. Okay. So for example, one could query a list of employees and display different results depending upon the query sent by the user. Okay. So today most users do not include script in their web pages anymore. So this is considered as a bad practice nowadays. So then they tends to use MVC design principle, which prohibits scripts in their pages. Okay. And so with that we will go to the second concept in the Java EE client, which is applet here as well, and the third is application client, similar to components. Okay, with that we will go to the fifth concept, which is Java Enterprise Edition Server Communication. Okay, so what is Java EE Server Communication? This refers to communication happening between client and application client. So typically a thin client and applet communication with the web tier, while application client communicates with EJB. What is EJB? That is the Java beans, the enterprise Java beans. So typically it is the communication between the client and applets in the web tier. So you don't find this very clear. You think it is cumbersome. So you can feel free to comment below. We can discuss about this, and if you have any doubt, we can discuss in the comments below. Let's move on to another concept, which I mentioned just now, is EJB. What is EJB? EJB is Enterprise Java Beans. We have been hearing about these Java Beans. So what is it? What is it? Okay. So this is a logical concept. It's a logical concept which has nothing to do with traditional Java beans. It basically tries to encapsulate business logic. Okay, it can encapsulate business logic on the back end. It does everything in the back end. And what is back end? It is a server side of a multiple tier application. When we have a client side and a server side in a multiple application. So here we are doing the business logic in the back end, that is the server side. So one key issue it was originally tried to solve is the transactional integrity with the database. So but there have been several versions of EJB, and like version 3.0 is clear breakaway for earlier versions. So there can be compatibility issues. So as we learn more about it, we will have a good understanding about it. Okay, with that, we will move to another concept, that is Java Bean component. So Java Bean component is same like Java Bean, mostly used in JSP pattern. Just a simple concept to understand. Then the next concept we will go is for Java EE container. What is container? Okay, there are so many terms in Java, so looking at it, we feels like a very complex thing. But if you know all these concepts, things will be pretty simpler. So, what is Java EE container? So it is where assembled Java EE component is deployed. Okay, when we just have components to understand about different tires, and Java EE container is where assembled Java EE components are deployed. That is where in the application server. So one defined web container consists of servlets and JSP pages. What does web container consist of? Servlets and JSP pages, and also what is JEB? What is JEB? Enterprise Java Beans. So we have servlets, JSP pages, and EGP containers containing enterprise Java Beans. One also defines application client containers for standalone application and applet containers in browser. Okay, in some application client containers are standalone applications, and in the browser they use applet. If you remember, I mentioned applet can be is a competition to a JavaScript. It will be there in the browser or the user browser side. So that is what is Java Enterprise Container. So the next concept we will move on to is deployment descriptor. Okay, deployment descriptor. Uh, what does it, as it the name clearly mentioned that it describes all the details of the deployment. So it is an XML file providing deployment information for packaged application. Okay, nothing more to add to it. It's simple. Then the next concept is SOAP. You must have heard about this SOAP. What is this SOAP? SOAP applications. What is it? It is nothing but simple. What is it? Simple object access protocol. Simple object access protocol. Okay. So what is protocol? Protocol where the official procedure or a system of rules that have been set for certain things. Okay, that is called protocol. So what is SOAP? SOAP is a protocol to exchange message across services offered in web. Okay, we have different services on the web applications like browser. So it is a protocol. It is a rule set of how through which we exchange messages across the service. So when the request is sent from the server to the client server, the client side to the application server, so it goes through the SOAP. Okay, because it has set of protocols that can be used to exchange the message. So this message is structured according to XML and can be exchanged via many transportation layer. Okay, but most often SOAP, what is HTTP SOAP, competes with JSON and REST-like services. So it is not that you have to use HTTP SOAP always. You can use a JSON Yeah, so with XML, you can use it with JSON as well. You can use it as REST-like services. So SOAP can be used with three different ways, like through an XML structure or through a JSON structure or through a REST-like services. Okay. So if you understand what a SOAP is, we move to another acronym is WLS. Sorry, WSLD. Yeah. What is WSLD? It is Web Service Description. What L stands for is language. Okay. So so it is little different. You can state here as it is a description language. So it describes the network service using XML. So XML has a capability to handle way huge data, and that's why it is used in web service description language. It describes the network service using the XML documents. Okay, so with that we move on to the second concept of what is UDDI. What is UDDI? Just as we mentioned, UDDI is Universal Description, Discovery, and integration. Okay, so so it is used to publish information about products and service online. Okay, and with that we move to another concept, that is Java Servlet. We have been hearing about this. What is Java Servlet? Java Servlet is nothing but a servlet is a Java class. Okay, it's simply Java class processing incoming user HTTP request. Java Servlet is a Java class processing incoming HTTP request and returning the result. Okay, it's both way. It's just not one way, it's both way. So it is nothing but a Java class processing it. The second concept we will move on to is JSP. Okay, so JSP, as you mentioned, is Java Server Pages. Okay, so it's a text-based HTML document actually. So it's a kind of a template which is processed to produce static content. Okay, so it can contain snippets of script code which is executed to render a final static document. Okay, we can use in JSP. The second concept here is JSTL. What is it? JSTL. Okay, so what is JSTL? Is JSTL full form? Any guesses? Similarly, as JS it's Java Server, and TL is for tag library. Okay, it is a tag library. So the full form of JSTL is Java Server Pages Standard Tag Library. Okay, So it is a set of standards tagged using JSP to mimic scripting code functionality. Okay, it's simple. It's just standard tags used in JSP. So for example, looping over a list of clients. We have a list of clients. You want to loop it to display this corresponding information. So nowadays, such tags have replaced scripting code into GSP. Most of them. So they are mostly used to generate or populate the pages with information to display to the server on the web application. Okay. The next concept is JSF, and that is JSF is it is not pages, but it is faces, face, Java server face. So what is Java server face? Java server page, we know it is a text-based HTML document, but Java server face, these are Java server pages only, but including Java server face tag, which is similar to JSTL tags. Okay, if you remember, JSTL is Java server standard, Java server page standard tag library used for the looping data with a mimicking with a script code functionality which we can use in the standard tags. So for the face, for the Java server face is same as Java server page, including server face tag, which is similar to JSTL tags. So in addition, JSF allows the definition of navigation model between pages. Okay. So in addition, if I want to add to this is JSP allows the definition of navigation models between the pages. It is something similar to the Spring web flow. It also includes facelets. Okay. The next concept we will have is the Java API for XML based web service. Okay, these are the concepts. If you understand them well, getting deeper into Java will be much easier. Okay, so this is nothing but the I mean it can mean to define the web application service using XML communication. XML. Okay, XML communication. Okay, okay. So the next concept you can study in Java or at least have the understanding of it is the Java API for XML binding. So we can definitely save it as JAXB, JAXB, the Java API for XML binding. So what is this? It is a way to convert the Java bean into an XML document and back and forth. Okay, you can this can be vice versa. This is what the Java API for XML binding is. It is a way to convert the Java bean into a XML document. Okay, the next concept you need to know uh, is JTA. What is JTA? JTA is Java Transaction API. So Java Transaction API means it is a mean to delimit the database transaction with auto commit and backroll. Okay, it is to delimit the database with auto commit and backroll. Okay. And the next concept you can No, so this is you might not go through all the concepts, but you have the basic understanding. If sometimes you just come across this concept in someone else's conversation, you don't need to feel blank about it. You are already aware of few things before you get deep into it. The next concept is JMS, and which is nothing but Java Message Service. Okay, so what is Java Message Service? So API allowing exchange of message reliable and reliably and I can say asynchronously between the application and the service. For example, over the internet, if you send the request, you get the response. So this go through an API. So it is an API allowing the exchange of message. The next concept is Java Mail API. What is Java Mail API? It is means to send email from an application. So to send an email from an application where we use Java Mail API. Okay. The next concept is JAXP. JAXP. So what is JAXP stands for? Any guesses? So JAXP stands for Java API for XML processing. Okay. Java API for XML processing. So it enables the processing of XML document. Okay. So next concept is JAXR. We have JAXP and now we have JAXR. Now what is JAXR? It is nothing but Java API for XML registry. Registries. Okay. So what is JAXR? It is an API enabling access to registering registers containing metadata. Okay, it will give you access for all the registers which has the metadata. So it is based on XML. Okay, basically it is based on XML. So it is an API enabling access to all the registries. The next concept is JDBC. So what is JDBC? JDBC, if most of them must be knowing about it, it's JDBC is J, J, JDBC is Java database connectivity. Okay. Okay. So this API lets an application perform X, SQL transaction between or directly to the database. Okay. So we do all the SQL transaction, but we do it through an API. So this API is JDBC. The next concept is JCA. Now, what is JCA stands for? Java Enterprise Edition Connector Architecture. Java EE Connector Architecture. Okay. So what does this do? It helps application obtain connection to information system, or this information system can be database. Okay. So next concept can be JPA. And what does JPA stands for? It is Java Persistence API. Okay. Java persistence API. So, what is Java Persistent API? It is an ORM. Okay, ORM can be an object relational mapping. So it's an ORM, like it is an ORM definition to to help to store objects in a database. Okay, if you want to store an object in a database, it is an ORM. It is object relational mapping, which can be used to store any object or data in the database. Okay, so the next concept is JNDI. Okay, so what does this stand for? Java Naming and Directory Interface. Java Naming and Directory Interface. What does this do? It is a mean to store and retrieve information or access to the information using their names. Okay, and the next concept is, I can say last, is Java AAS. What is Java A, like JAAS? What it stands for? It stands for Java Authentication and Authorization Service. Okay, Java Authentication and Authorization Service. Okay, so mostly these are the concepts, but if you want some additional, we can do it, or if you have any more questions, there are many more concepts which might have been left in this video, but we can surely discuss that through comments. If you have any, put the questions below. Mostly I've covered most of the acronyms. If you have any questions, you can comment them, I can reply them, and we can discuss over the comments for this. This is all the introduction to all the Java Enterprise Edition acronyms. Uh, there, I mean, the knowledge is vast, and you cannot just put everything in a single video. If anything is left, we can discuss it. And if you want to have a more understanding of any concept, put in the request. We can surely go ahead and have a different session for same. Okay. So I'll just wind up for this particular session. See you in the next session. Thank you guys. Bye.